Hey fam, this is Leslie, and if it is Wednesday, it is Wine Lovers Wednesday. I hope you guys are doing well, and we have a twist today. We are not talking about wine, we are talking about cocktails, and I am here with Kim Hall, and she has a great subscription business. As you know, Shades of Vino is a subscription business, and when I see other ones out there, I empathize and I feel like they're my sisters in the trenches. And so I wanted to invite Kim on because not everybody drinks wine, contrary to what I would like to believe. People actually love cocktails, and she has such an interesting story about how she got started and what type of cocktails she has in her subscription. So Kim, please introduce yourself.
Thank you so much for having me. And I always feel like there's no reason for us to choose. We can enjoy cocktails and wine.
There you
I
go.
have a good wine collection at home too. I'm a fan of both. It just depends on the day and the mood.
And I have my cocktail. I made a cocktail today, which is
Oh,
my
nice.
my go-to is vodka. I'm a vodka person,
Me too. Yeah.
and a squeeze of lemon. And this time I added just a little simple syrup, but that's pretty much how I drink it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for having me. We launched membership for Sip+Tipple in early March of this year. So it has not been too long. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. In 2022.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so please tell me your cocktail story. How did you get started with cocktails?
So first, I was one of those weird college kids that never drank. I did not drink in my 20s. I didn't grow up in a house with alcohol. Drinking just wasn't on my radar. I was probably well into my 30s before I actually really started enjoying a good wine or a good cocktail. And over the years, particularly in DC, my friends and I have been making the journeys to all the different great distilleries that we have in the area. And they have really been a great educational experience and really learning my palate. You know, a lot of times we feel like we don't like liquor, but sometimes that just may not be the liquor for us. So I've had a chance to talk to some really great bartenders and learn a little bit more about what I actually could enjoy. And so that's really opened up the world of cocktails for me. And I really love it. So during the pandemic, when we saw some of the distilleries obviously struggling, my friends and I were going out of our way to order from and support the local distilleries that we have been enjoying all these years. And I was on Instagram one day and saw a post for a Black-owned vodka that was based in the DC area. And I thought to myself, like, I've been going out of my way to support these other distilleries when I could have also been supporting a Black-owned brand. And so I set out on a journey to find it. It was not very easy to find. But when I got to the store and finally found it, I bought like 4 bottles. I was like, I don't know if this is going to be good or not, but I'm just going to have all the bottles. And if it's so, we'll put something in it and I'll give it to my friends.
Right.
But it turned out that it was actually really, really good. It is one of my favorite vodkas, one of the best I've ever had, Black Leaf Vodka. We did a founder's brunch with the founder, Kevin. So after that, I started to think, like, how many more Black-owned spirits are there out there that I have been missing out on because it just was not a priority in the same way. Like we hear about the national brands, Uncle Nearest and, Ciroc, you say all of those things that are very well known to us, but there's so many others, amazing brands out there. And so I just kind of started going down the rabbit hole and realized how difficult it was to get some of them. They don't have the same type of national distribution. You can go to this site and that site, but each time you go to these sites, you have to pay different shipping or order 3 and 4 bottles. And then there's also that taste factor, right? In my palate, am I going to like this if I'm going to pay $30, $40 for the bottle plus 15 for shipping and then get it and be like, oh, I don't know. And so that's how I came up with the idea for Sip+Tipple, where we do the research and the hard work for you. So we find all these amazing Black-owned spirit brands. We taste them and we set up a flavor profile for all of our bottles to give you an idea of kind of what you're looking for. And when members join, they take our flavor quiz, which was created by spirits professional Tracy Franklin. And so if you were to join today, you would take our quiz, you would get your spirits flavor profile. And then when you go on our site, you see the different bottles that we have that also have a flavor profile, so you can pick what corresponds. Or if you want to step outside of your flavor profile and try something different, you can pick something different, but at least you're not going in completely blind.
So do they get what size bottles do they get?
We our membership includes 2 full-size bottles every quarter.
Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
that's good. So it's not like the ponies, the little mini ones.
No, we give you 2 full-size bottles, and then to kind of help kickstart your journey with that bottle, we also include some cocktail recipes that are also curated by Tracy Franklin. She's amazing. She's been on national television shows and all type of things. She's an amazing spirits professional, and she has really helped with the profile building part of it. That's really her
Mm-hmm.
niche. And so, like I said, we take your flavor profile and consider the flavor profile of the bottle, what you have told us you like, and then she curates some cocktail recipes to match that. So when you get your bottle, because a lot of times, unlike a bottle of wine, right? Like we can
Right.
drink it in a night or a couple days. A bottle of liquor is a little bit more intimidating because you drink less of it. And so it's kind of like, what am I going to do with this huge bottle? And
Mm-hmm.
so we give you a kickstart or some ideas of how you can use it.
That is phenomenal. And how frequently do people receive um their collection there?
Once a quarter.
Once a quarter.
Once a quarter. Right now, we're on a schedule about the first or second week at the last month of the quarter.
Okay.
hmm
And does the each quarter, does it have a different theme to it, or how do you select the spirits that go in there?
That's the hard part
Mm-hmm.
because there's so many great options out there. And so I kind of made my initial wish list of some of my favorites of what we've been working with so far. And then we try to offer a variety of like a vodka, tequila, a bourbon, something along the sweeter side. We had a salted caramel whiskey. And so what we try to do for our members is that we have between 4 to 6 bottles that we will recommend 2 to 3 of them if they match your flavor profile. And then you have an option if you would like to add on additional bottles, or if you feel like, you know what, I really love that bottle I got in the first curation. You can also just go back to some of the bottles we had in the first curation. We have them available in our store and you can add that in instead. Or order 4 bottles, whatever floats your boat.
Order 4 bottles.
Yes, whatever works for you. Which some people do, if they know they're having like an event or friends come over,
Right,
something
right.
like that, the 2 bottles aren't enough, and so they add in a couple of extra for a specific reason. Or to gift, we've had that as well.
I can imagine. I can
Mhm.
definitely imagine. So who are some of the brands that you work with?
So I mentioned Blackleaf. That's one of my favorites.
Mhm.
The last quarter, we had the Tea Capri Reposado. It was delicious. We have had Guidance Whiskey, which the guys are based out of Tennessee. It is a really great bourbon. We have also had Duke and Dame Salted Caramel Whiskey, which was very sweet for those that like a sweeter note. It
Mm,
is great
okay.
over ice cream, vanilla ice cream. It is a really
Hmm,
good, yeah,
okay.
because I don't typically like very sweet liquors,
Mhm.
but it's really great with ice cream as well.
Yeah,
um,
I'm the same way. I don't really like that, but I do like, what is that thing called? I'm so embarrassed to say this, but I do like the honey jack.
yeah, uh-huh.
Yes, yeah.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
yeah, normally, yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of flavor. We also had in the next quarter we will have which we haven't announced yet, but
Mhm.
we'll have Tom Bullock's burnt orange bourbon, which has
Oh,
a little sweet tinge to it, but isn't too strong for me. And then you put a little ice in it, and it's really good. But again, a lot of people also prefer the sweeter brands, and so it's
mhm.
really good.
How do you, balance that between, I know people have their profile, but their flavor profile, and you give them the options, but when you have, like, so many resources that you have to select from, how do you say, okay, we'll have this sweet one here and um, these these bourbons or these whiskeys, or
Mhm.
how do you make that determination each month?
We try to offer a good variety of, a lot of people, like I love vodka, but I also love bourbon. But some people are like, well, I'm a vodka drinker, I'm just a bourbon drinker. And so we try to have some of the staples in each shipment and then do some variety. So, like in our first shipment, we had the Tolero tequila. And then in the second one, we had the Reposado, right? So it's still a tequila, but it's
Oh,
an aged tequila. And so you have some variety there. We didn't offer rum in the first one, but we offered a light rum in the second one, the Equiano light rum. And so we just try to approach it from the standpoint of, if I'm building a bar, what are the things that I would want to have in my bar? And so, like, we've given you a light rum, a white tequila, a blanco tequila, and a whiskey. Now we're going to offer a reposado and a salted caramel whiskey and a bourbon. And so, just trying to, again, approaching it from the building an entire bar and the things that people might want to
mhm.
do that with.
Are those the bases that you would recommend in building a bar?
That really depends on your flavor palette, right? And what
Okay.
you like. For my bar, because I don't particularly care for very sweet things, so I
Mhm.
always keep like two vodkas because I like vodka a lot.
Right, right.
I
Mhm.
always keep a bourbon, a whiskey. I do enjoy the burnt orange bourbon again, even though it's a little sweet because it makes
Mhm.
cocktails. And we also had in one of our shipments the Birdie Brown plain hooch, which is an unaged whiskey, so it's white. And I'm from the South, so normally when someone says hooch, it's like gasoline.
Well, yeah, I was kinda thinking that too.
Yeah, it's like moonshine, hooch, that's just gasoline, nobody wants
Mhm.
that. But it's actually really good, and, some of our members hosted a tasting and made, a painkiller cocktail with it. It was
Mm.
amazing, like, everyone's favorite. And so some of those things that when you feel like mixing, you have some things that are different, that you
Right,
can also
right,
add to the mix. Mhm.
right. The moonshine is big in the local area here.
Mhm. Mhm.
Which the first time because I had never had moonshine, but it was good. I was pleasantly surprised with it.
Yeah, yeah, it doesn't always have to be awful.
Right, right.
And the British Brown plain hooch is not. It's actually, like I said, it's actually really good. Yeah.
So welcome, Terry. Thanks for joining us today. And if you have comments for Kim, please put them in the chat so we can share them with her. You know what? I noticed um, the the spirits, the distillery world really is taking off with African American winemakers. I mean, excuse
Mhm,
me, distillers,
mhm.
and more so than winemakers. Do you have an idea why you'll see more in the spirits world than you'll see in the wine world?
I think there's just been a big push. The world has kind of been closed to us for so long.
Mhm.
And there's been a really good push in some programs that are really helping people to kind of break down some of those barriers and those walls. And also, like, we're growing and doing more. And we have, so many examples of things in the space that are successful. And, so many times we hear, like, if you can see it, you can be it. And we have those examples in the Uncle Nearest and with Ciroc and Juice and all of these things.
Mhm.
All may not be majority Black owned anymore, but we were able to
Right.
see these things get started. And we are large consumers of spirits and wine. And so we should be at the table for these things.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I completely agree. So do you ship outside of the DC area? Because I'm not sure if we mentioned that you are based in DC. The
Mhm.
company's based in DC. Can you get your boxes outside of DC?
Unfortunately, at this time, we only ship directly to or deliver directly to customers in DC. We do a courier service for delivery.
Mhm.
And so it is not, we don't ship FedEx or any of those things. We inform our customers of the delivery day and then give them a delivery window, and then the orders are hand delivered. And we have a pickup spot for people that live in Maryland or Virginia. As I'm sure you may know, the shipment laws for liquor are extremely strict with some holdovers from Prohibition. We're fortunate to live in DC, which doesn't
Mhm.
have as strict of rules as some of the other states. But once you get into
Right.
the other states, there are very few states that you can ship liquor directly to a customer as a retailer.
Yeah, it's maddening.
Very,
That's
very.
that's the best way I can put it. It is maddening.
Yeah, and wine has kind of paved the way, as in it's getting better for wine
Mhm.
and being able to ship
Mhm.
directly to customers, but, hopefully liquor will soon follow.
There's oh, when I'm gonna send you the information, but there's an association specifically that has been formed for individuals who, retailers, direct to consumer retailers
Mhm.
who want to ship. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
they have like lobbied on the federal level, um and most of the states are represented in that organization. So I'll have to send it to you just to follow what they are doing and the strides they're doing, because it is skewed for the larger competitors in the area.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It is.
it is definitely school. So this, I mean, wow, this is so amazing that this is your first year. What are your plans going forward?
Our plans going forward are to one, to really increase the number of events that we're offering. One of the big things that we focus on, again, because we are a smaller company and most of the brands that we work with are smaller brands. And so we have a great opportunity for our members to interact with the founders of these brands and to hear their
Mhm.
stories and learn more about the process. And for our first founders brunch, the founder also bought a product that he's testing out. And so we were kind of an informal focus group. And so we're really focusing on trying to increase the number of experiences like that we're able to offer. We had an event planned for August, but we pushed it back to October with some of the monkeypox and things going on,
Mhm.
where we're offering, we're starting our Diverse Spines series.
Ooh,
And
what's that?
so we will have two authors, Kurt Maitland and Shannon Musifer, who have both written cocktail books. So they are going to come and talk to us about their cocktail books and how they curate these cocktails. Kevin has written two books and Shannon has written one. They're great books with some amazing cocktail recipes. We share some
Okay.
on our Instagram, Sip+Tipple Club. But also, prior to the talk, our members will get select tickets and be able to bring a guest. And then, if we have some additional space, we'll open it up to the general public. But Shannon is going to host a cocktail workshop. So she brings put some ingredients out, and we choose
Mhm.
the liquor, and each group will kind of create their own cocktail, and then we'll have a contest to see who creates the best cocktail. So I'm really excited for that experience.
Oh, I'm thrilled. I might just be a member just to do that. That is.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun. Shannon is great. We're really looking forward to it. And the ticket prices will include a copy of one of Kevin's books and one of Shannon's books, both autographed. And ideally, you'll also walk away with 4 or 5 new cocktail recipes that the different groups have created. So if you
That's
like it.
yeah. I mean, sometimes you get into a rut and you're
Hmm.
like, oh, I want to try something else. And I notice it's a big difference, like when you go spirit shopping
Hmm.
versus if you go wine shopping. Like you can go to a wine store and most of the people that work there are very familiar with wine and they can tell you about it. But when you go spirit shopping, they don't. They're just like
Yeah,
whatever the distributor told them. You're like,
exactly.
right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why we really focused on that when I started this company, because for me, I find spirit shopping intimidating because of the reasons that you said, right? Like if
Mhm.
I'm buying this entire bottle that is going to last a couple of months, do I actually like this? And so that was one of the things that was very important to me, which is why I sought out Tracy to really help with that. And we've really focused on making sure that we understand the customer's palate when we're making these recommendations so that you can feel a little more confident in the selections that you're making.
Yeah. Do you participate in Black Restaurant Week?
No, I did not. Um, we just had regular restaurant week. No, I did not participate in Black Restaurant Week. We are still very small and working on some partnerships, but I actually got a couple phone calls today. So I'm excited to see what may come of some of those.
Yeah. And even if you're just listed,
Mm-hmm.
you may
Yeah.
not have like an event per se, but if you're just listed on there, people will go to your site and take a look
Yeah.
at your
That's a
site.
great idea. Thank you.
Yes, to register there. Um, so Tracy is she's the master mixologist
Yep.
behind the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have some of your members comment and say, hey, um, could we include this or in your when you're selecting your quarter selections?
I haven't had that yet. I think that I've gotten more of customer feedback on what they don't want to see
Mm-hmm.
in the boxes. I get a lot of, like, I'm so excited to be a member. I hope I'm not just gonna get a bottle of Uncle Nearest. And not because they don't like Uncle Nearest, right? But because
Right.
it's easily accessible. And so people come to us because they want some of those brands that are harder to find and
Mm-hmm.
because they want to discover and support new brands. And
Yes.
it's not a either or, you can do both, but they're coming, they can go to the liquor store and easily find Ciroc and all of these things, but they're coming to us for the things that aren't in their local store and that they can't find easily. So
Yeah.
I get more of that than actual request of what they want to see.
Kim, you should be my spokesperson for our wine. That's exactly what I say in our selection because people will often say to us, hey, do you have Black Girl Magic? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, we don't. Not that they're they're definitely worthy, so that's the wrong word.
Right.
But they're at Target, they're at
Mm-hmm.
Walmart. Like
Mm-hmm.
they are so easily
Yep.
accessible.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you take a look at Frechette, this other brand that is not as accessible and is equally good
Mm-hmm.
for you to try.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Mhm.
And then when more people are talking about these smaller brands, then more people are buying those smaller brands, and it just builds the cycle of wealth
Mhm.
in
It
the
does, and it's
community.
so hard to get the national distribution that some of these larger brands have, that is
Hmm.
where it's very hard for some of the brands to get in the door for those type of things, and so we're just a tiny little thing to, again, help expose us to some of those brands that, like you said, are equally amazing, they just don't have the same national distribution.
Yes,
Mhm.
exactly, exactly.
Mhm.
So in our final few minutes, would you mind playing a little game?
Okay. I'll be
So I am going to name a dish,
okay.
and if you can tell us what spirits would you pair with it?
Oh boy. Okay.
Okay.
Now that I will have to say that, like, this does not mean that it's, like, the correct thing, it's just what I like.
Right, no, it's what you like. Oh, definitely. Yes. Thank you for this disclaimer. So please do not write us later and say, I tried that and I didn't like it. No, this is on Kim's palette and not
Yeah.
on this is not the official palette, but it probably is good anyhow. I'm just
Mhm.
I'm just saying that anyhow. So um have you ever had the cold watermelon salad with mint and peanuts?
Yes.
What
Yes, I
would you
have.
what would you pair that with?
Because of the mint, I probably would pair that with a white tequila.
Ooh, yes.
I think that's what I would do. With
Mhm.
the nutty and then, like, the watermelon, I think I would probably go with the white tequila.
That's a good one.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a especially this time of year.
Yes.
That that is a good one. Um, what would you pair with um grilled, like barbecue grilled chicken? Honey glazed barbecue grilled chicken.
Oh. I might pair that with Guidance whiskey. It
Oh,
has a little bit of a, nutmeg and caramel aftertaste, and so
mm-hmm.
maybe that would go good with the honey chicken,
Oh,
maybe.
no, that sounds really good.
Mhm.
Um, oh yeah, that is good. And what about a dessert? What dessert would you pair? Let's
Um,
say let's say a devil's food cake. Devil's a chocolate cake.
yes, I am like I love desserts, I love to bake. I would probably make a martini with black leaf vodka because that's like one of my favorite drinks. I
Uh-huh.
love desserts. So that would be purely because I just love chocolate. And so the martini wouldn't be too sweet to go
Mhm.
with the super sweetness that I would be getting from the dessert. That's probably what I would do.
That is that's what you should do around the holiday time.
Oh yeah. I just made a chocolate cake a few weeks ago and I did not make martinis and I should have done that.
Yes.
Definitely.
Do you like your martinis with stuffed olives?
No. Just a little twist of lemon.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yes. 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 Okay, so the last thing, um, what about like um I'm thinking good old pot of collard greens.
Oh. Well, you asked me about liquor, but actually what first comes to my mind is like a good Merlot.
Mm. Mhm.
Would
Mhm.
probably be my first choice. And so for liquor, I would probably want something a little heavier like
Mhm.
that. You know, again, I'm from Georgia, so when I have my collard greens, I put some vinegar in it and some cornbread and hot sauce.
Thank you for not putting sugar on your greens. Thank you. Thank
No,
you so much.
I don't even know what that means. That's actually
Yes,
scary.
I've seen that. It is. Yes.
So I would probably want something a little heavier like that. So I would have a Manhattan. Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah.
what I have. Yeah, that is what I would have with that.
That is pretty amazing. Well, I really appreciate you taking time this evening on our Wine Lovers
Thank you
Wednesday.
so much for having me.
And thank you. Really I appreciate it. I love entrepreneurial spirit, and I think this is something that's great in the marketplace. Can you tell people how to find you?
Sipandtipple.com. SIPANDTIPPLE.com. You can also find us on Instagram at Sip and Tipple Club.
Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Happy Wine Lovers Wednesday. And we will check you out next week. Next week, we are going to have Alyssa Wolf from Red Wolf Importers. I almost lost it for a second. Red Wolf Importers. And we're going to be talking about our South African wine pairing and tasting in October. She is an importer for a lot of really delicious South African wines. And then the other thing I want to bring your attention to is we are having a virtual happy hour of our wine club on September 7th. So
Nice.
if you're interested in the wine club, but you're like, oh, I don't know if I should commit or what have you, committing is free. It is free. So you can come and see what wines we will have for this quarter, and we'll have some prizes and games. So I can't wait to see you next week and check out that happy hour um, on September 7th. Have a great weekend, guys. Take care.
Bye bye.